When the crowd realized that Roman Reigns was about to become the winner of the 2015 Royal Rumble match, there was a big backlash that followed Roman Reigns around for months. There were multiple men, guys like Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose, who the WWE audience wanted to see win the annual event and go on to challenge Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. The crowd didn't get what they wanted, and WWE failed to make them believers in Reigns by having him go over Daniel Bryan the following month at Fastlane. The problem wasn't that the fans didn't believe in Reigns. They didn't believe that he was good enough or experienced enough to move forward to the main event at WrestleMania. They just wanted to see somebody else in that spot. Over the last few months, Reigns has been working very hard in the ring and on the microphone, and he's beginning to match up his skills to the push he was receiving at the very beginning. WWE has smartly dialed back on Roman, having him compete in somewhat high-profile matches, not necessarily having him main-eventing house shows all the time, but still keeping him in the upper card while not overexposing him. Bray Wyatt has been able to get the better of him on a large number of occasions, but shockingly, because the writing for this feud is very simple to this point, it hasn't really hurt Roman Reigns long term. In fact, it's actually making the fans cheer for him even more. There isn't necessarily an actual point in terms of giving us a reason as to why Wyatt has targeted Roman, because there hasn't really been a point this whole time, but everything else is Wrestling 101 and it's working. Imagine that. Daniel Bryan said in a recent interview that Roman is holding his own now, and he isn't being fed idiotic lines like calling people suffering succotash and other inane insult choices from the mind of a man still stuck in the early 80s. Bryan is right. Roman isn't being cute, and he isn't being forced to be something that he is not. He says what he needs to say and then dominates when necessary. His matches have been much improved as well. I don't know if the pressure of him having a spotlight focused on him has helped him calm down and get into a groove, but he certainly must feel that a load has been lifted off his shoulders. They are letting him develop himself into a multifaceted wrestler, organically as opposed to forcing him into a spot that he shouldn't have been positioned in the first place. I used to be dead set that the only way to save Roman was to have him turn heel on Dean Ambrose. I no longer believe that to be the solution. The crowd is getting back on his side. They knew he wasn't the hero they needed a few months ago because there was already plenty of those. But he's showing significant improvement now, and he's beginning to catch up on the way WWE hoped he would 7 months ago. Keeping him in a program with guys the crowd likes to boo, and even make him and Ambrose tag team champions if they want. By the time WrestleMania comes around next year, if they don't screw it up somehow, the crowd will be ready for Reigns to win the title, and Reigns himself will be ready to get his first run on top. He's not the guy who will carry the company on his back anytime soon, but that's not his job. That's the job of the WWE champion right now. He'll get a taste of the big time, and it will be an opportunity to show off what he's capable in that top spot. For Roman Reigns to have a successful WrestleMania season, he can't have a rematch with Brock Lesnar. The Royal Rumble match has to be booked by somebody who understands wrestling. Make it exciting, don't make the winner completely obvious, and give other fan favorites clear reasons to be eliminated so that when a good guy like Roman comes along, now he's a positive figure, and when he wins the match, there isn't a mass fan backlash. If Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and so on are in there, but aren't set to win, make their eliminations count, make it important, eliminate them to start or continue a bigger build-up to something that they will be doing at WrestleMania, start a new program for them. I think that would have helped a lot this year, but those in charge of booking knew that there would be a fan backlash, and they thought they were setting up to combat it correctly, but it went spectacularly wrong. We go back to Wrestling 101, which is where every storyline must begin. Roman is gaining momentum because WWE has wisened up and are keeping him attached at the hip to a fan favorite like Dean Ambrose. They are likely to win their match at SummerSlam against Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, and that will keep Reigns looking strong. In a perfect world, the next move would be putting the United States Championship around his waist, specifically taking it from John Cena. The Roman Reigns experiment is far from over, and as great as it would have been to see Kevin Owens or Cesaro take the belt from Cena, the fallout probably would have been pretty lackluster. Roman would have a moment and a title run that would actually matter. A benefit of doing Reigns for Cena on an episode of Raw is that down the line, you have a built-in rematch for a big network event like WrestleMania, and that's where you do some big business. Because as long as the US Championship is viewed as just one rung below the WWE Championship, there is no shame as using the US Championship as a stepping stone, especially if he defeats a guy like Cena to win the title. The build-up has to be well calculated or else they risk long-term damage with the second monster 3-month push.